Kawaki is one of the most misunderstood characters in the Boruto franchise, often hated because of his controversial choices, more specifically to seal Naruto Uzumaki in the Daikokuten dimension and trying to unalive Boruto on more than a few occasions so far, and probably more in the future. It's no secret at this point, ever since 2 Blue Vortex started, Kawaki has taken quite a few L's. That alone is probably enough for Kawaki to get his solo video, besides the video I plan to make on how strong he gotten after the time skip. Well, when we eventually see him fight someone formidable, that is. But I feel like I see something developing, something deeper than Kawaki just taking L's. Ever since 2 Blue Vortex started, I've been paying close attention to Kawaki in regards of his mentality, mostly to observe any changes to his ideologies that would eventually lead him to have his big fight with Boruto at what seems to be towards the end of 2 Blue Vortex. Kawaki being similar to Sasuke in this aspect, of his motives and ideologies constantly changing until he finally comes to the resolution to destroy and rebuild the Shinobi world in his favor. Kawaki, standing by a destroyed Konoha, stated that the age of Shinobi is over. What could lead to him doing such a thing? I used to constantly ask this, but I've seen a really popular question in the community, which is it really Kawaki that did it? Throughout the recent chapters, I've gotten a few ideas as to what could possibly lead up to this point, and it's quite a few of them. Back in chapter 79 of part 1, we see Kawaki talking with Ada, and he tells her that if they don't hurry up and take down Momoshiki, then Lord 7th and the village he cherished and protected will both eventually be destroyed. Now, a lot of people for this reason alone, and myself, believe it may not in fact be Kawaki that even destroyed the village. Because as stated here, why would Kawaki destroy something that Naruto cherished so much? Especially since he drove Boruto out of the village and sworn to unalive him to protect Naruto in the village. You see, this is why it's important to catch any signs of mental deterioration in a character like Kawaki, because it will tell you everything you need to know about what went wrong along the way. We see in chapter 6, Shikamaru has officially made contact with Boruto due to use of mind transfer jutsu. It's then he planned to forge some sort of new alliance with Boruto. Kawaki's initial plan was to eliminate Boruto while everyone still believed that he was the one who unalived Lord 7th. The lie that he would carry for 3 years was supposed to be unquestioned. But now that Amato has finally found out his mind was altered, it motivated Shikamaru to do more research on the situation to confirm his theory, in which he already had his suspicions for a while. You see the pattern here? Ada's power is very strong, but no matter how strong it is, it cannot overcome two things that helped Amato and Shikamaru discover the truth. And these things are scientific proof and documented proof. To Amato, the mere fact that Kawaki has the karma that he made to resurrect his daughter instead of Boruto is quite enough to come to the conclusion that his mind is altered. Because to a scientist, there is nothing, and I mean absolutely nothing, that outweighs scientific proof. And for Shikamaru, the official documentation that was made for every single shinobi the second they became genin was enough proof for him to realize the same thing as well. I don't think I have to explain to you why this is not a good thing for Kawaki. The more people that discovered that their minds are being altered, the more suspicious everyone will grow of Kawaki until they expose him of being a fraud. Right now, Boruto is fighting MITSUKI, and if somehow he finds out the truth in this fight, it would only be worse for him. Let's say MITSUKI was already suspicious of Kawaki, and this is a very popular theory in the community as well. He fights Boruto to confirm his suspicions, and that's how he learns the truth. Or maybe MITSUKI can push Boruto to at least activate his karma, and at that point, MITSUKI can discover the truth on his own. So what will Kawaki do? We know how far he would go if someone was secretly working with Boruto, but could this signify the beginning of the downfall? Because at this point, all Kawaki has to hang his hat on is the lie that he'd been hiding on all these years. If Shikamaru, or even worse, the village elders find out about Kawaki and what he did to Naruto, and the fact that he tried to unalive the Hokage's son, it becomes a federal problem. The village elders even state that the daimyo are furious at the situation. And if you didn't know, the daimyo are like the rulers of the different countries such as the land of fire, wind, lightning, etc. Everything about the hidden villages goes through them. So you can see how dire the situation could get for Kawaki if the tables somehow switch on him again. And the problem is, we know as of now, he won't release Naruto unless Boruto is eliminated because of Momoshiki. And if he has to do something like fight off other villages to do it, he definitely will. So at this point, do you ask yourself, after Kawaki gets exposed, does he get in trouble with any of the 5 great nations, which would eventually cause the age of Shinobi to end? It is very possible Kawaki falls to that level of destroying the entire Shinobi system just to keep Naruto safe. It's safe to say nobody outside of Konoha could possibly even hope of matching Kawaki in terms of strength, and of course hacks. Do all you can, but the fact still remains that if Kawaki wanted to, he can take on nations by himself and still come out successful, especially if he continues to become stronger as Tubular Vortex continues to go on. And let's say because of what happens to Naruto, they order the death of Kawaki, similar to what happened to Sasuke and Shippuden, and when they ordered his death. You can really start to see exactly why Kishimoto made Boruto as strong as he is coming out of the time skip. Because the challenges he would have to face later on will surpass the capability of any mortal level being. So if we figure out why Kawaki would state that the age of Shinobi is over, you would also kinda have to figure out why Kawaki would want to send Boruto to the Daikokuten dimension instead of completely unaliving him. And to me, it's a pretty easy explanation. From Boruto's showings of his strength and hacks, especially against Code, and eventually when he defeats Mitsuki, he could just simply prove to be too strong for Kawaki. The concept of sealing characters who are too strong or too much of a troubling presence for the antagonist to accomplish their goals is not an uncommon thing. An example of this would be the sealing of Satoru Gojo in Jujutsu Kaisen. I won't dive too deep into this because some of the reason for Gojo's sealing hasn't been covered in the anime yet, but just know for Geto's plan to be successful, the sealing of Gojo is completely necessary because he's just too damn strong. So let's say Kawaki just gave up on the idea of destroying Boruto, or if Boruto for some reason has proven to be unable to unalive, then sealing him would probably be the best route to go at that point. However, in the beginning of the video, you heard me say what if Kawaki wasn't the one who destroyed the village. I know a lot of people probably wouldn't want to hear this because I have a lot of Boruto supporters on this channel, but it could be a scenario where Momoshiki actually takes control of Boruto's body and does exactly what Kawaki feared what would happen ever since chapter 79. A lot of people don't understand, even though Momoshiki cannot fully resurrect through Boruto's body anymore, it was never stated that he couldn't temporarily gain control of Boruto when he loses consciousness or is to a point of chakra deficiency, meaning low amounts, or completely out of chakra. And although it would be temporary, this could be enough time for Momo to accomplish something that could create permanent damage, which could also be a reason why Boruto seems to be a little reluctant to use the karma in the first place. But more information on that will be revealed whatever chapter Momoshiki makes his series debut. But if this was to happen, would you think of Boruto as the real villain? Would you align with Kawaki's ideals? Although it is still very early in Boruto Tubular Vortex, a few possibilities as to how the series ends has already surfaced. And I think depending on how it ends will 100% have to do what Kawaki chooses to do, or what path he chooses to take. And everything will start once Boruto makes his way back into the village and becomes trusted again by his comrades and everyone in the village. Especially if everyone directs all their hatred that they stored up for Boruto and passes it on to Kawaki. At that point, you would just force Kawaki out of the village and kind of drive him into the corner. And as we know, when Kawaki gets driven into a corner, he tends to make rash decisions. So however you look at it, there's a scenario where Boruto destroys the village and there's a scenario where Kawaki destroys the village. And also, I can't end this video without mentioning the Shinju because they are a presence in the manga right now, and it's very possible that they could be the ones that destroyed the village, especially since all of their targets are in Konoha. But besides that, Boruto stating that he didn't think Kawaki could go this far could mean that A, he did go through with his plan of destroying the 5 great nations because they all turned on him, or he went through great extremes to eliminate Boruto, it would eventually lead him to destroying the village. Or C, Boruto destroyed it once he became possessed by Momoshiki for a short period of time. But I didn't dive too deep on the Shinju because somehow I don't believe that once Shikamaru and everybody finds out the Shinju has specific targets and they all reside in Konoha, I don't believe they would stay in Konoha. I would feel like as a Hokage, even if it is tentative, I believe Shikamaru will have the proper IQ to kind of lead the Shinju out of Konoha to protect the citizens. It would be too dangerous to keep those targets in the village if they know they are, targeted by the Shinju. But anything can happen. So let me know what you think in the comment section. What happened that will eventually lead to the end of the Shinobi era per se? And what can be done to avoid this situation? Or if you have any other theory as to what will happen, leave that in the comment section as well. We're currently on Boruto TBV VORTEX chapter 6, and I could already see the events that will eventually lead Kawaki down a dark path. So if it does eventually get to that point, do you think Kawaki would be in the right, or would he be in the wrong? This is kind of an on-the-fly theory I thought about. This video wasn't really planned, I just needed to hear your input on this. As always, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you did, I would hope you would leave a like because it does help the video tremendously in the YouTube algorithm, and subscribe to become a member of the community. But without further ado, until my next video, and I'm out. Peace.